Hello YouTube, so apologies for not being around the last few weeks. Things got a little bit cray-cray in the run-up to summer in the city. If you don't know already, I'm one of the organisers, and one of the best things about being one of the organisers of Summer in the City is the fact that I get to be in charge of some of the panels and some of the discussions that we have throughout the weekend each year. One of the highlights for City, for me, was the fact that we got to put on an LGBTQ plus panel this year for the very first time in the event's history. We had fantastic panellists. I was lucky enough to be able to chair it, and then we had Tyler Oakley, David Levitz, Gary C, Alex Bertie, and then Rose and Rosie, and we had some fantastic discussions about being LGBTQ plus and the medium of YouTube, the future of our community. It was really fantastic. Alex Bertie recorded the whole thing and put it on his channel, so you can look at that here. So go away, have a quick butchers if you've got a spare 40 minutes, because I want to talk to you guys today about one of the topics that we touched on in our hour-long discussion on the panel. That topic that I want to raise with you guys today is the fact that in the UK we seem to have a very specific phenomenon where there are a large number of popular vloggers who actively choose to not disclose their sexuality to their audiences if they are LGBTQ+. The sexuality of these creators will very often have little to nothing to do with the kind of content that they make. They will be comedians, vloggers, short film makers, and so there is the argument that why should they have to disclose that to their audience? It's their private life. No, if they're doing the ice bucket challenge, why do you also need to know that they're gay? It's not that so much that I have an issue with, but when there is active dissent in the content that they're making to perpetuate the idea that they are in fact straight, when in their private lives they're out and open about their sexuality, that's when I have an issue, because it is a dishonest relationship with their subscribers. I don't know why they do it. Perhaps it's the idea that all of the teenage girls that are following them will be more ready to like and subscribe if they think that one day they'll have a chance of being in bed and spooning them. I find it really interesting that this is also very much a UK-focused phenomenon. When you look at the US, it seems like being an out gay vlogger is actually an asset to the content that you're making and the audience that you grow. And then you look at case studies like Troye Sivan, who blew up after he made his coming out video. He didn't alienate all of the girls that were pining after him before he came out. He's actually increased the number of his subscribers and the size of his audience, and now he's got a bloody album out. So why would UK vloggers want to hold off on this and not want to identify with this community? I find it puzzling. As I said, we talked about this actively on the LGBTQ plus panel at Summer in the City. So just listen to some of the points that our panel had to say.
But do you think they harm the community by not
I don't think it's fair to say that someone who doesn't want to come out or isn't brave enough to come out or whatever reason, I don't think it's fair to say, for us to say that's harmful. Like, we've got people on YouTube saying I'm gay, I'm bi, I'm this.
And you also, I love the word brave, because it's like, it's also brave to wait till you're ready. Like,
yeah.
It's not, yes, it's brave to be unapologetically yourself, but it's also brave to know when it's safe for you, when it's right for you, and that's never, oh, you're in college, you should be out by now. It's never, oh, you have a certain amount of subscribers, you should come out by now. That's ridiculous. Like, everything's individual, and nobody should presume to know somebody's situation, personal or like within themselves. So I don't think it would ever be fair to like expect somebody or expect a community just because they have influence to be ready for it.
Right.
I don't think.
Yeah, it's definitely like, it's a personal choice whether to be open about it. And with those questions that it raises, at least from my point of view, I'm happy to be the person who can answer them. I think that I wouldn't know what to do with like this YouTube kind of world without being a person to answer those questions, because that's why I like it. I like that this medium reaches a whole new group of people who didn't have that voice before, and I'm proud of that. I'm happy to be that, but I know that not everyone would love to be in that position, and I'm not trying to put that on anybody else. It's just like, if I can do it, I'm happy to, and for anybody else, I think that we're all happy to be that resource for everyone.
There's a lot of stuff here that I agree with. I do think that there is bravery and courage in being able to wait for the right time for you to come out, especially if you are younger and you are still coming to terms with your sexuality. I ended up coming out as gay, as bi, and then gay again between the ages of 15 and 21. So I understand that sometimes you have to wait to make sure. But it's when these creators are a lot older, they have long-term relationships, and they still choose to either not disclose or lie about their sexuality. Where does this shame come from? Why in the UK YouTube community do we have maybe it's not shame, but I am genuinely perplexed as to why there aren't people, maybe capitalizing isn't the right word, but choosing to be open to their subscribers and being advocates like David and Tyler and Alex and Rose and Rosie. All of these people, and Gary C, all of these people have helped people by sharing their stories. Why would you deny your audience that? For a long time, we also had a large number of closeted people in mainstream media, in Hollywood and in television. But recently, we've seen a wave of people either being very blasé about their sexuality, but being open about it. The Ellen Pages and the Jodie Fosters. When Anderson Cooper finally came out in, I believe it was 2012, the New York Times had a piece about him, and the writer, Kate Arthur, said the following. Cooper has struck me in recent years as an example of a closeted famous person who didn't mean for his secret to become such a big deal, and found himself stuck. Maybe this is what is happening to YouTubers in the UK. When they were first making videos, when they were 16, 17, 18, they perhaps weren't as confident or secure about their sexuality, and as they grew up and they came to terms with it, they got boyfriends and girlfriends and told their family and were out to their friends and they go to heaven on a Saturday night. But that gap, that decision to make that step and be out to your audience becomes harder and harder as time goes on and also as your audience grows. Coming out to your mum and your dad and your little brother around a dinner table is one thing. Coming out to over 1 million people on YouTube, that sounds daunting. There are also some whisperings of certain creators choosing to wait until they have a certain number of subscribers so that when they do finally make a coming out video, it will have maximum impact and give them the most amount of publicity possible, a la Troye Sivan when he came out. I don't know how true this is, but this particular approach to the publicising of one's sexuality makes my blood boil. It reeks of dishonesty and trickery and suggests to me that openness with an audience is only worth it if you get a paycheck at the end of it. I would really like to know what you guys think about this issue. Do you think that YouTubers have a duty to come out and be open with their audiences? Think about all of the people that are helped by all of the coming out videos. Or do you think that advocates who are very open about their sexuality, like our LGBTQ plus panel, do you think that they do the job efficiently enough? And also, why do you think that it seems to be the UK community that has this phenomenon, and only us? Maybe I'm wrong, maybe there are other parts of the world where the YouTube community are choosing to be less open with their audiences about their sexuality. But it worries me because we live in a country where we have gay marriage, equal rights pretty much across the board, but then when it comes to making silly videos on the internet, why is that a barrier? Why is that seen as a medium where you can't be open about your sexuality, but I can hold my boyfriend's hand when I walk down the street nowadays? It seems so backward, and it really breaks my heart because it implies to me that these creators still have an issue with their own sexuality, and I wish that that weren't the case. And I wish that more people were happy to not necessarily be gay vloggers, but to be people who are out there and open and who happen to be gay. We need more people like that. Yes, coming out videos are great, but just knowing that somebody is out there and is similar to you and happens to be gay as well, that helped me when I was coming out. And I wish that more UK YouTubers were okay with doing that for their ever-growing audiences. I have been rhyming with oranges. This video has been a long time coming, and I look forward to hearing what you guys think. Yeah, goodbye. I don't know why they do it. Perhaps it's the idea that all of the teenage girls that are following them will be more ready to like and subscribe if they think that one day they'll have a chance of being in bed and spooning them.